Hi everyone, I'm Wayne Sutton, Community Manager at Observable, and thanks for joining us for our first office hours.
Welcome to a bedroom, as you can tell. Introducing myself, Vishnu. I'm an engineer here at Observable. Been working on comments for probably too long, at least this public version of comments. Do I get to introduce like Tom and Carrie at all, or should I just talk about myself? I have no idea. I guess, again, reiterating
just talk about yourself.
Oh, great. I guess been Observable for a little bit more than a year. Started, I think, in April of last year. And been working on a bunch of stuff, comments since maybe like around the new year, maybe before, I don't even remember anymore. It's been kind of a weirdly long project, unexpectedly long project. And yeah, that's maybe all the interesting things about me, at least that people might care about in this context.
All right. Hi, here I am. Yeah, I'm Carrie Rodden. I'm also an engineer at Observable. Comments was my first project. I just joined in January. And before I was doing that, I was doing a lot of data visualization stuff. And before that, I was a user researcher. So I've had a lot of different things that I've done in my career. And my accent, by the way, is from Scotland. So shout out to anyone that's watching from Europe.
Hi, from another bedroom. Tom, I've been here maybe working at Observable, also an engineer at Observable, maybe for 8 months or so now, 9 months maybe. And yeah, I was working with this fun team on common things. Before Observable, I've done kind of Python notebook stuff for a long time. So a bit excited about finally using the tools of the web to really make stuff interactive and kind of more exciting, more real excited about doing things on the web where you can see images. That's mind blowing for me.
Hi everybody. My name is Anjana. I am a developer advocate here at Observable. Just joined the team back in March, so in good company with all of our new teammates here. And I will be hanging out in the chat today, listening, learning, and trying to help get everybody's questions answered.
Awesome. Thanks, Anjana. Excited to be on the same team. Should have mentioned earlier, I'm on the DevRel team with Anjana and Cassandra also. I think Cassandra is in the chat as well. So we had a full team here, almost a full team here answering the questions. So next, thanks, Anjana. So next, we're going to bring back Vishnu to the stage. And Vishnu is going to give a demo of public comments and talk about how it works.
Hi again. Okay, demo. Let's see. Let's share some screens. Let's share. I think this one. This one's probably good. This one's fine. Oh no, wrong one. Damn, wrong screen. Let me do that again. I can't tell from the screen chooser which one is which. This one. Put in my screens. Okay, this one. So this one, if you've seen anything about comments, you probably already know how things work. I think, comments, as expected, on the internet, you can comment on things. People now can comment on any published notebook you have or shared. So if you have a shared notebook and you share that with anybody, people can directly comment on that themselves. So if I say like create a new notebook for myself and somehow send this to some people, which nobody has, but if someone goes to this, they'll be able to add a comment and I can have a conversation with them now. Before we did have comments as part of suggestions, and those were nice for private conversations, and those still exist. But these now are comments that you would expect to see probably anywhere on the internet as part of any published thing. So that's like my super quick tour. There's like lots of other maybe small features in here that we didn't expect to build when we were like, just take comments and make them public. And so those are around moderation or subscribing. So right now you can manage whether or not you get notifications at a notebook level to any new comments that show up. And so right now I am of course subscribed to this comment notebook, and I get notifications in my email whenever anyone comments. I can unsubscribe pretty quickly that way, or if I want to unsubscribe, I can do that again. You can also do that from the emails. The other maybe interesting thing here is I can lock comments on this. So if you have notebooks and you want to basically turn this feature off for other people, you can go ahead and lock comments, and other people will not be able to comment on your notebook. But you can still comment on your notebook. So if you want to kind of annotate or explain or other things using comments, you can still do that. While comments are locked, only editors, so in a team context, other people on your team can also comment. And let's see, you can unlock at any time, and go back and forth a bunch if you feel like. And what am I missing here? Just recently, by the way, if you've been paying attention a bunch, we did remove this icon here. So you won't, to add a new comment, you would have to click on this three-dot menu and go to add comment nowadays. Before there was an icon here that people were mistakenly clicking on a bunch. Got rid of that for now. But you'll see if there are comments here that you can still click on this to see the hidden comments over here. We're still, of course, working on this a bunch. So if you have ideas or other things that you want to see, definitely let us know, either right now or on this notebook, or there's plenty of ways to contact us. You can tweet at us, you can email support. I think commenting on this notebook is probably maybe the best direct way. There's, of course, plenty of other ideas in here too that you can reference to see. That's unless other specific questions, I can talk about other things, but I feel like that's a quick tour.
Thanks, Vishnu. Brett Cooper had the question I think that you covered around moderation tools and spam. So appreciate you doing that.
The other thing I should note is that the editors of a notebook can delete anyone's comment. So if, for example, I don't like Mike's comment here, I can delete his comment, which will help you get, basically if there's spam, you can go ahead and delete it. You can also, of course, report spam or abuse. So if you were to do this, you'll see kind of what would happen here. So this goes to a special email address that our team will review. You can also uncheck this box, by the way, and then this will be sent anonymously. So otherwise, if you want to reply, you can go ahead and type in your reason, and then you'll be kind of part of that email. If you want to do this anonymously, you can go ahead and do that, and then it'll be sent to us via the API. So it'll be a lot more anonymous.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we really try to think about, the good and bad behavior with comments, and so we're glad we spent some time and built that in terms of reporting features. So we have another question.
Threaded. So do you plan to offer reply by email, threaded comments? Yep.
You want to read the whole question for?
Yeah. Sorry. Did you see a spike of comment numbers since the new feature came out? So I would say there's a spike in people interacting with kind of like this icon or the new icon. Basically, we've seen people testing out the feature, I think. Entertainingly, maybe, we've also seen, so we were kind of paying attention to when people actually will comment. So people who interact with, say, this plus comment button are way likely to comment. People who were hitting this like add comment, all of a sudden were not as likely to comment, either by accidental clicking or, of course, just like exploring to see what was going to happen here. But otherwise, there's an uptick in people commenting a bit across the board, and then we're trying to find ways to kind of engage people a little bit more there. So let's see. As a user, I hope to get more suggestions now that it's easier, but that hasn't been the case yet. Do you plan to offer reply by email, threaded comments, etc., as we have gotten used to this on other systems like GitHub or Discourse? So that, yeah, definitely is on the roadmap of things that we could try to do. There is especially in the line of kind of like resolving right now, is like you're resolving the entire stream of comments here, and it's one single thread. So that's to maybe improve upon that. Also by email is doable too. I think those are all pretty decent and not horribly hard features to add. They're all kind of on our roadmap. We're trying to figure out priority of them now. And then, is it okay to remove low information comments to clean up, or will people get offended? That might be, that's a community question, I think, more than anything else. I think most people have about the right level of understanding of just what would happen. So like, yeah, if one thing to note is if you delete someone else's comment, there's going to be no indication that you've done that or that was ever there. So if you wanted, you could add your own comment saying you've deleted something. You could do other things, I don't know, but we've kind of left that in the human problem land a little bit for now.
Yeah, I'll jump in a little bit on that, on the okay to remove low information comments and clean up. Being, and Vision will correct me, but I believe you said that in what you just said, that people will not receive a notification if you delete their comments, correct?
Correct.
So that to that point, then if you're the notebook author and you want to clean up your comments, that's your choice. But in terms of best practices and so forth, be kind of good to get give an update if you have time. Say, hey, I'm gonna clean this notebook up. We're gonna remove comments because you're about to make it public, or you just want to clean it for yourself. So they will get that notification, and then you delete the comments. So, but again, it's your choice.
Yeah, and then yeah, resolving is somewhere in the middle there right now. So as you can tell, these two comments, I've decided to go ahead and resolve, which does move them. So if say CPC were to come back here, this would not be open to them. It's not open to me either. So if I refresh, by the way, I'm going to see a bunch of comments by default. And so if I were, so there I had resolved it. So it kind of cleans them a little bit. But it's still maybe like, depending on if I really want to really clean this up because it was either totally off topic or something else, then yeah, I might need to delete them.
Thanks. Another question, Phil, I think it's Phil, thanks for submitting that question. Vision, thanks for the answer. Another question from Brett, can a comment be +1 to avoid repetition?
So that sounds like it's implying emoji reactions, which we also have on our roadmap, and might be something that we might do earlier than later, just because it's both fun and I think a lot of people would get, there's kind of immediate utility out of it. So we were looking to like Slack's emoji reactions as a model there, to be able to +1 comments. So you could use a plus for +1 or thumbs up if you wanted, or whatever emoji you actually wanted.
Yeah. I'm with Brett on this, and Vision, I think you are too. As we chatted about this, yeah, the emoji reactions are something that a little bit of fun we all need right now in our lives, so it'll be good.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, you can just reply with an emoji if you want. And by the way, so if you want to subscribe to a notebook without needing to comment, you can, of course, just go and actually just enable notifications for any notebook if you happen to want to get updates for comments without needing to explicitly add a comment of your own.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah. So, want to say any more questions we have around comments, around notifications, how comments work, reporting? Let us know in the chat or the ask a question feature. Visna, you share a little bit about the roadmap in terms kind of what we have coming around comments. Can you want to go over a little bit more, or what you say, like what feature outside of emojis that you think we do next?
So probably near the top priority-wise, I think for us is @ mentions. So right now, @ mentions, you can mention someone, but all it basically does is it allows a link to show up. So here, Aaron Kyle mentioned Pistuffa here. And so, and this is a little bit along the lines of kind of the threading also that Phil had brought up. So right now, all this does is add a link to Pistuffa. And Pistuffa would have to come back. Well, he'll get this notification if he didn't unsubscribe that Aaron Kyle Dennis replied, his name is in it, and he'll kind of know out of band that this was a comment meant for him. But there was, so Aaron in doing this had to have typed this out correctly, and Pistuffa would have had to notice it. So basically building out that interaction better. So that there would be autocomplete on this at, that Pistuffa would have, like, we would have made sure to notify Pistuffa that there was a comment mentioning him, etc. So at mentions, building out at mentions a little bit better, which is along the lines of replying. There is also, we're considering how to deal with default visibility a little bit better. So right now, maybe to show like this notebook. Most people will come to this notebook right here, the meetup notebook, and see that there's 3 comments here, and we've tried to direct you to add comments to the cell, but it's very minimal that you do this to see it. Of course, it would be better for people to come here and see this already open. So the explicit version of this would be like pinning comments, but we're thinking about more possibly implicit ways to do that. There's of course a whole bunch of other stuff on our roadmap that is harder, that we're thinking about and trying to figure out how to prioritize. So I mean, that's everything from like editing comments. That is, I don't know. We've probably thought of many ideas that I think a lot of people thought of. We just don't know how to prioritize them right now. And so again, this is kind of like we wanted to launch this and get a version out to people so that people can tell us what priorities should be.
Yeah. Thanks, Rizzo. Do you mind showing the, just because I'm not sure everyone's, I'm not sure of everyone's awareness in terms of like how to get someone's username in terms of mention them in the comment thread. You mind showing them kind of like the hack right now in terms of mentions like the observable name, where you go to the URL, copy the name, and at them if they want to get the notification.
Yeah.
Until we add it. Yeah.
Sure. So I mean, I would kind of, you can either like command click on this person. So Dave Robertson here, his handle is actually at David Robertson. So you can also see, can you see my cover on the lower left at all? So I can, yeah, close this. So it's specifically this username here. And so I would have to click on him to see actually his username. Same thing for like, either I know that Fabian's username is Mutare, or I need to kind of click through to here to see that his actual username is Mutare right now. Which again is slightly frustrating if I wanted to mention Fabian.
Yeah, thanks. And Thomas, good point in the chat saying that note that they would not see the notification.
Yeah, currently if I mention, like if I were to add Mutare here, no extra notification would go to him right now. Again, currently as of today, all this does is add a convenient link to Mutare. But that's on board to try to make better pretty soon, hopefully.
Yeah. So on the roadmap, we have notifications, at mentions, emojis, plus ones, and comments. And we just want to say thank you everyone for using it, and Business for walking us through it. So while we have everyone here, I want to see if any more questions that you may have around comments, or even it could be about Observable as a platform. Yeah. Carrie brought a point around what was it like around the team collaborating, building comments and so forth.
Yeah, am I supposed to feel that? Should someone else feel that right now?
Well, repeat that.
I could talk about it. Should I talk about it? Someone else want to talk about it? I can talk about it. I don't know.
Let me see.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe a little history because it's kind of fun. So public comments. So again, comments have been part of Observable for a while as part of suggestions. They're all quite private though. So Mike actually wrote a notebook called Public Comments and tried to detail and spec out what public comments would look like, why we'd want to do them, etc. We all kind of rallied behind that. So that was definitely last year, but I don't remember exactly when. And my video, I hope, is on. So we kind of formed. So how Observable works a little bit too right now is that we have, I don't even know how many engineers we have, but we kind of have projects and we have pods that kind of go up and down. So an example of this would be Minimap, was Toph and Sydney and Jeremy. And so they built the Minimap over the course of several months. And now that is in a good place, they've now moved on to some other projects. Similarly, I had worked on a lot of, so I'd worked on database clients, I worked on some other things at Observable. And so we kind of formed around comments, Tom and Carrie here being the engineers on this team. And then we started playing with prototypes, going down useful avenues to learn how they went, and we can point to them if people bring them up again and say that's maybe not a good idea, maybe not, who knows, things might have changed. And I did that for I don't know, maybe I feel like it took about a month to play around with stuff, get our heads wrapped around everything, and then started actually in earnest kind of building it out for several months, figuring out that we needed some things like moderation or other things, how that all interacted with everything else. And then we all started working from home. That got a little interesting. And still again, working on the same project. And then finally, I released it, I don't know how long ago now, maybe a couple weeks ago.
Cool.
Tom and Carrie, please fill in any of the huge gaps of that.
I think that the transition to working from home was kind of an interesting thing for me in particular, because I'd only been at the company for not that long, and then all of a sudden it was, we had just moved all of our desks into the same corner of the office so that we could be a little pod and work together, and then all of a sudden we all had to be at home. And we had been doing quite a lot of pairing when the project started, and that was really useful for me again as a new person to be getting familiar with the code base. And we did manage to transition to doing that some at home as well. But I think it kind of tailed off a bit as it was more no, we just have to focus on these small details as we get ready for launching. But I did find it helpful that we managed to keep pairing a bit remotely. And that's something I definitely want to keep doing.
Tom, did you want to say anything before we jump to more questions?
No, that sounds like that's similar experience. That's it.
Awesome. So I want to jump to the next question. Looking on one. Okay. Question from Joseph on YouTube. Where is the roadmap?
It's a good question. It's in our heads. It's not. It's a little bit written down on a board somewhere, but mostly it's a thing that we're making up, and we have plans, and we're prioritizing. And then of course in addition to the commons things we're talking about here, we're also prioritizing these against everything else, every other way we could make notebooks more awesome. So I don't know. I'd say maybe it's a little more in his head than anybody else's, but it's kind of a shared imaginary idea, and I would say we're just keeping it secret so that we can decide and not make people disappointed. But in fact, it doesn't actually totally exist. The roadmap is, it's like an old roadmap where somebody pointed you directions. They didn't actually fill out the whole map. So there's not even a thing that we're hiding that we can't show you. It's kind of, these are things we think we want to do. They're just a bunch of ideas.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we have a board. It's in GitHub. It's a bunch of issues and notes. There's like 23 things in one column, 20 in this other column. There's many ideas in here. Some of them are sorted by priority, some are totally not. And actually, kind of maybe to quickly answer Phil here about what we call comment access levels. So right now, comment visibility follows directly notebook visibility. That was a slightly important thing to us to at least launch with, because adding the complication of, okay, you have to have in your head notebook visibility, and then separately you also have to have in your head all these separate comment visibility access levels seems overly complicated to launch with. At the same time, of course, being observable and having a bunch of published notebooks that we do want to have slightly private conversations on, we can't do that now, actually. We were doing that before, but we can't do that now. And so, yeah, we kind of want that feature back a little bit, but we've been trying to weigh it against the complexity of that mental model.
Yeah. Thanks for answering that. I also say that something that in the DevRel team, or at least I've thought about, is Observer having a public change log, or like a update log, like, oh, this is what we're working on, this is what's next, so our community can see it. I just created a poll, just to see if anyone would like to see. Feel free to vote on the poll if you're watching the crowdcast. So if you like the Observer have a public change log, let us know. I think it'll be something personal. I think it's something cool to have. But thanks, Joseph. And for those watching YouTube, for the question. Carrie, anything you want to add before we jump to next?
No, I'm noticing Phil's comment about the way that we moved cautiously to the new system. And I think that, that is part of why we took a while over this, was that we wanted to be very aware of the fact that there were all these existing comments on notebooks, and it had worked in a slightly different way than we were intending it to work going forward. So there was a lot of complication there. And Phil was actually one of the users that we talked to get his help on, how are we going to explain this to people? And so, yeah, so thank you, Phil, for your help.
Awesome.
And all the other, anyone else that's listening that was one of the folks that helped us.
Awesome. Thanks, Phil. Appreciate that. We'll jump to the, thanks, Carrie. Jump to the next question. Is there going to be a way for teams to have team private comments on shared or published notebooks? And before you answer that, can one of you give an update on or explain like teams, how teams work on Observable for those who may not be familiar with teams? And how teams is different than
Sure.
not just regular notebooks.
This already. Okay, good. Right.
I kind of addressed that, but it's good to kind of reset and talk about teams. So Observable HQ is a team, and then we are all members of that team. Teams is anybody can have a team, and it's our paid product. So the best thing, of course, about it is that you can have these team private notebooks that you can share amongst the team. Everybody sees them, but they're private to everybody else. So you kind of get that sharing ability.
Again, I guess the big differentiator to add on that would be, both different people can see them and also different people can edit them. Because right now you can have, you can link share something, but this is a way to collaborate without having to make a suggestion, which is our current, general way that we encourage people to collaborate.
Yeah. The other maybe differentiators in there's team secrets and team database clients. So if you're working with backend databases that you, of course, would share as a team, you can create notebooks and share those that access that database. Same thing with using secrets for like API access or other things. So you can have a notebook. So like I have a integration test notebook that uses the GitHub API and that uses the secret. So I can actually share that with my teammates without needing to publish it. And then to recap, Phil's question was about how comments work in that context. And so for Observable, so right now there's not many teams that really publish team notebooks. So the use case is mostly, I think, observables in D3s. use case of where a team collaborates to publish notebooks. And so in that case, it's kind of like we want to have this slightly private conversation about a published notebook, and that's not we kind of broke that use case. It existed before, but we broke it in order to like make public comments public, and we want to try to bring back in some way, but it's and we definitely feel the pain because it's again one of our main use cases of our own team. But right now, that again trying to figure out priority of that.
Awesome, thanks. All right, cool. We're gonna transition in a few minutes, but I also want to say thanks to everyone submitting the questions. I'm the last call for questions, and before we transition, anything else you three want to share around like maybe what you're working on now, or upcoming features, or just favorite notebooks, or just even before we jump on next topics. Gary's like, no.
Well, it's interesting to have the DevRel person tell us like, hey, do you want to share? It's like, oh, I do. Yeah. We've got to figure out. Yeah, can I share this? So we're thinking about things.
I guess the natural thing is to say we're going to transition to analyzing comment usage and make visualizations of comment usage in notebooks.
Cool.
I'm now working on embedding stuff a little bit. So rethinking. Right now we have a very powerful embedding API. You can take any notebook that you've created, and if it's published, you can put it on your website. You can put it on someone else's website, but it could be easier to do. So I'm starting a project now to kind of look into making that a little bit easier. Is some other work that's going on.
Visnu?
I mean, yeah, kind of alluded to it, but like integration tests. So maybe more infrastructure-y work, actually. So again, we went from, the team was 3 people. I joined at like 4 people. So it went from 4 engineers to like 10. I don't know. How many engineers do we have? Is it 10? Is it 15? I have no idea.
The big team of 25.
So the entire team's 25. My random guess of engineering is something like 15, maybe 18. I don't know. So anyway, so going from something like 4 engineers to like 15 engineers is relatively different. And so a bunch of debt as far as not really like code debt, but more like infrastructure-y, how we code, when tests run, all of that stuff is what I've been eyeing to try to fix in the next month or 2. So that's
awesome. Thank you. Great. Well, Visnu, Tom, Carrie, I want to thank you all for participating in the office hours. I want to thank the community for submitting questions. And next, I'm going to bring up Ajna and talk about some things she's working on. So hang tight, everyone, and I'm going to say goodbye to you 3. And thanks.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Hello. So I am not sure if folks have seen our YouTube channel. If you haven't, check it out, YouTube/Observable HQ. And we have a series of videos about learning Observable, about getting used to the concepts, the techniques that that make working in notebooks work. So for this particular crowd, I'm sure everybody has spent a lot of time in notebooks and could probably be giving these videos. But if you maybe have teammates or coworkers or folks who are just starting to wrap their heads around it, please send them towards our YouTube channel and to the Learning Observable videos, which we're going to be releasing more videos in the coming days and weeks. So stay tuned for that. And also stay tuned for more activity on crowdcasts like this, and live streaming, and more discussions around working in notebooks, and really, trying to get hands-on, do some mob programming and some notebooks and whatnot. So stay tuned. Check out YouTube. Thanks, Visno, for posting the link. And yeah, really, really looking forward to seeing everybody around a lot more. Back over to you, Wayne.
Awesome. Thanks, Ajana. And everything Ajana said, plus 1,000 around. Stay tuned for a lot more. This is our first office hours here on Crowdcast. As Ajana said, we have a YouTube channel, more videos coming out. Be sure to follow us on Twitter for updates, and also join our community forum as well. You can find that link on observablehq.com. And just again, want to say thanks to everyone who participated. Thanks for submitting questions, and excited about how we can continue to collaborate on Observable. And just stay safe, everyone. Stay healthy, and we'll see you online.